My name is Dongchang Li. I'm the creator of USL. Over the next 5 minutes or so, I'm going to describe the word math stagnations as a sort of epidemic phenomena and how to overcome with the MMU1 proposal that I'm making. Basically, what I'm trying to do is from the boosting the worst half average, about 25 percentile, to the top half average, about 75 percentile in very short time frame. First of all, I'm going to show the math stagnation nation series, the paper I published online. The international nation is statewide and the big city-wise. This is a real phenomena, and this is going to be video show summary of it. So MMU is trying to boost the math half average, the math poor half average, like here, to math best half average, which is roughly about the 1.3, 1.4 standard deviation difference in a very rapid time frame, and what it means to the most of the developed countries and Latin American countries, etc. So this gap of the 25 percentile to 75 percentile, roughly, let's say this is rule of thumb. OECD average is the bottom, like top 5 Latin American country, and the top is 25 percentile, 20 percentile is about top 5 East Asian countries. These are the countries you see. So if you focus on the OECD country, let's say there's English speaking or 5 English speaking countries, Germany, Austria, etc., etc. And the schema I'm going to use is this yellow arrow is MMU1 magnitude. In the worst case scenario, the half of it, MMU 0.5, is that. And this much gain is roughly equivalent to it depends on the interpretation, but more or less 5-6 years of school math gaining, 2-3 years of school math gaining, not studying harder or spending more or less. Okay, so if you look at the PISA of the past pattern, the green color is most of the country is going declining. OECD country is like right side, 2/3 of the entire area is going getting. OECD average is about this going much, and if you're averaging up for the 15 years, and overall, as you can see, overall is going negative. Most of the developed country it's basically it's a pandemic. Now let's look at the richest 20 country in the PISA record for 13 years. As you can see, it's from the top to bottom, this entire G20 country is pretty much horizontal, flat, it's not going anywhere. And from country like Brazil also, this is the top of the OECD country difference. This is what the MMU1 is capable of. Now let's look at entire EU countries. Again, flat or getting worse, more or less. And the MMU1 impact is this much. It's screwed up version, half of it is still this much. How about the TIMSS? TIMSS is another two of the biggest international methods examination. Over the 5 English-speaking countries, Australia, US, England, New Zealand is going flat, except the earlier part of the England boosting depth. Then it's going all flat. And about the 4 years of cycle, so if it's a 4-year cycle implementation is done, this yellow arrow is basically MMU1 capacity potential. Let's look at the United States and the UK. If you look at it, this is the average of the United States, average of UK, going flat and actually getting worse. As you can see, this red arch is the entire gamut in the average of the PISA, the best country math, PISA, the worst country, more or less. And this, the orange color at the bottom, 25 percentile is more or less top 5 Latin American country. This is a little bit less than the top 5 Eastern Asian countries, the best 5 math countries in the PISA teams of the past 15-20 years or so. So the MMU1 is basically boosting this much. This is basically like a Latin American country average to the Eastern Asian country, the average is boosting. And normally it takes, in the traditional standard, more than 100 years for sure. If you're lucky, very, very lucky, well, 50, 60 years. But we are trying to make it, and if it's a full commitment in sport, 4 years. How about New Zealand, Australia? Basically, you can do the similar kind of thing. And again, the middle peg here. For PISA part, New Zealand, Australia is slightly better than the US, but this, as you can see, entire level is declining. The low 25 percentile is the average nation is pretty much mimicking side by side, mimicking each other. So again, this is basically top of the Latin American level, about the Chile level, up to the basically Hong Kong, Singapore level boosting, more or less. And how about the TIMSS part? And over the past 20 years record, the vertical, this again, the area is a 25 percentile to the 75 percentile is like a thin sky blue color. And traditionally, it's pretty much vertical. In other words, over the past 20 years, most of the country is not growing, at least the entire English-speaking country for sure. But the red arrow is if MMU is implemented completely and committed, and this is going to what happen. See your lives. This is TIMSS. I showed in the PISA first, and then I showed you in TIMSS. And now let's look at the in the PISA in the perspective again. The OECD country, United States, Australia here, the top destination country, Mexico, Brazil, Colombia are here. So basically, the past MMU1 pilot study that I ran in the Guatemala last year, basically this is roughly the range of from here to here, here to here, roughly, if MMU is implemented in the district-wide, city-wide, statewide, or nationwide, or something like that, whichever you pick. This is a 5 English-speaking OECD country: Canada, New Zealand, the UK, United States. Again, this is roughly about the Mexico, Chile, Uruguay area, and this is United States, the top tier destination country, and this is MMU1 impacts. English-speaking OECD countries, again, this is different perspective, basically same thing. 3 German-speaking country, pretty much flat, and this is what the difference is going to make in a similar manner. And how about Belgium, Romance-speaking country, Portugal, Spain, France, Belgium, and Europe? This is basically difference, horizontal. And 3 of the Latin American countries, but there are some countries didn't participate occasionally. But anyway, this is Latin American country: Chile, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Brazil, basically here. And this is a difference. And if you look at the entire OECD level countries, dense, yeah, it's all horizontal. Yeah, am I lying? And I'm not bluffing anything. And this is basically based on the fact, PISA, and this is for Chile, Mexico, Brazil trajectory. And in the Chile, past 6 years flat. Mexico and Brazil is declining already. How about the top Eastern Asian country? 5 Eastern Asian country, Korea collapsed surprisingly badly. The 2015 PISA, and again, it's the top of the country, and this is again level to PISA, and this is the middle of OECD pack like United States, Australia, and getting up like this MMU1 pack. 6 of the G7 country individually, and this is orange color is a half level of MMU1. MMU1 is a yellow, of course. This is basically that. And so as I demonstrated, this yellow is MMU1 capacity, and depending on the level of collaboration and how that, in each country, poverty is a relative term, math poverty is as well. But basically, if you talk about in the mid pack and upper pack, basically what I'm trying to say is ending math poverty is roughly at least this much. Even MMU 0.5, the half of the original capacity is going to be better than not decades after decades. A lot of them fail even, but this is going to be what it can bring if there is a collaboration in sports. So if you can walk, why do you crawl? If you can run, why do you walk? If you can fly, why do you run? So please contact me. Let's let's open the channel of communication. Start to explore with each other. What we can bring together. And as Einstein said, if I paraphrase a little bit, the world is dangerous not because of it's evil or something like that, but because people are not taking action when necessary. Yep. Thank you very much and have a great day.